Hi, everyone. A wonderful evening to you all. It's another Wednesday, and welcome to CS Bite and the Mouthful. I am your host, Marcia Sia Harris. Thank you so much, so very much for being with us. We trust that your week thus far has been amazing, and we pray that the rest of the week will be even more awesome. So, this evening, we have with us a couple of persons. We have Miss Leslie Ann Samuel from the Union of Jamaican Alumni Association, and she's joined by one of our board members, Miss Evelyn Godden, and then a member of the UJAA group, Mr. Thomas Gordon, who is the president of the Rosemount Alumni Association. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you, they say you save the best for last. So I'm going to be saving Madam President for last. And they say it's always, for us women, we tend to have a lot of clout and a lot of mouth, except, when we get into a fearful situation, then we most times remember that the men are the stronger unit. So I'm not even going to toss him into the hot seat this evening. I'm going to introduce to us board member of UJAA and president of the New Day Alumni Association, Miss Evelyn Godden. Here we go, Evelyn. Good evening, Evelyn, and welcome to CS Bite and the Mouthful. I am just going to be adding the other participants, and then we can go into the meat of the matter. And so I'll be heading to the stream, a little man with big visions and big intentions. Mr. Thomas Gordon. Welcome, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for joining us. And then they say you leave the best for last. So we have left the most important person for last. And we're going to be having Miss Leslie Ann Samuel, and she's the president, as I said before, of the Union of Jamaican Alumni Association. And then we will move on from there. So, Leslie Ann, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sia.
And I deliberately left you for last because they say you save the best wine for last. And being as you're the president, I just wanted, to take my time and introduce you to the world.
Thank you so much. But I have to put this on record, Sia. First of all, thank you so much for having us. But if these kind folks did not exist, I would not exist. UJAA would not exist if Evelyn and Thomas did not exist. So,
Amen.
in the grand scheme of things, I am not the most important.
We're all important. But then again, we have the chain of command. So I took it from the bottom to the top and not from the top to the bottom.
Okay.
Right. So I have a little bit of information. Well, for you ladies, it's not a little bit, it's a whole lot of information that I have here about you and about UJAA and who you are and all of that. But you know what? I'm going to scrap most of that.
Oh boy.
Because nothing says better to anyone than ourselves. And so I am going to ask you, Madam President, just to tell the world who are the other two members who are joining you here this evening. And then as we go along, then I'll go a little bit more into the profiles.
Okay. It is certainly my pleasure to introduce one of my board members who has been a part of the UJAA organization. I've lost track, Miss Evelyn, of how long, but long time. And she recently, I'm going to say 3 years ago, joined the UJAA board of directors. She was elected to the position of director. But I have known Miss Godden since she started her organization, New Day School Alumni Association, which is the alumni group for the New Day primary and intermediary school
Mhm.
right? Did I get that right, Miss Evelyn?
Yes,
Yes, good,
correct.
good, good. And I've actually been to the school. I don't remember the name of the area, but I can see it in my mind's eye. But Evelyn is not only an asset to the UJA board in her role as president of New Day School. She's also a professional, an IT professional, and currently works for Citibank. I will let her fill in all of the fabulous work that she does there when she reintroduces herself.
Okay.
The other fine gentleman in our midst is the president of Rosemont Primary Alumni, is not primary not in the name, but Rosemont Alumni Association,
Mhm.
President Thomas Gordon. So Rosemount is one of our newer alumni associations that recently joined UJA, and they are off and running. Um, Under the most able leadership of Mr. Thomas Gordon. So it is my pleasure to introduce them both to join us today in our conversation about UJA.
Thank you so much, Miss Evelyn. And so I'll read a little bit about Miss Evelyn. And it says here, at the request of the membership, Leslie Ann Samuel continues to serve as the president of the Union of Jamaican Alumni Association, USA Inc.
So are you talking about me or are you talking about Evelyn?
Leslie Ann.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Leslie Ann Samuel.
All right.
That's what I'm reading here.
All right.
A position that she has held since September of 2014. During her short tenure, user membership has grown from 32 to over 60. That's almost 100%. So that must speak of, the excellent job that you're doing, Madam President. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A leader of vision and passion, she has focused on developing the programs of the union, establishing UJA as a stakeholder with various education organizations in Jamaica, including the National Education Inspectorate. So I'm going to stop there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to move on because when I first heard about UJA,
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard it first from Mr. Gordon. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what is that? And he,
Mm-hmm.
went on to explain. Can you tell me what is usual? I mean, for people who don't know, yes, it's the umbrella group for alumni, but what exactly is usual? What do you do?
So UJA is really the member organizations that we talk about, right?
Mhm,
We exist as a group, okay? And the idea here is this. Think of fingers and a fist. There are things that fingers can do, and there are things that a fist can do. When you put all the fingers together, there are things that together we can do that individually we cannot do by ourselves.
mhm.
And that's the point. It's the point is coming together for greater impact, right? Very simply. That's the reason that we exist. Now, yes, each of the organizations are individual member organizations. They are businesses unto themselves with their own boards and their own missions and objectives that they are trying to achieve. What we do when we come together is determine okay, so what are those things that we wish we could do, but that we cannot do by ourselves? It becomes expensive, it's too many people, whatever the reasons are. So,
Mhm.
what are those things that we can do together that makes sense for us to do together so that everybody benefits?
Okay, great, great way and interest, to really say it. A fist, fingers
Hmm.
by ourselves, one, whatever. But
Hmm.
as a fist, you can drive a more striking force.
Exactly.
Miss Evelyn Gordon. And as I confessed to you earlier on, I had been pronouncing your name as Gooden because I had never heard of Gordon before. So when you said that this evening, prior to us coming on the show, I'm like, oh my God, I did not take note of it. And so you see how important it is because to our mind's eyes, because we are so accustomed to something, we tend to look at it not from what we are seeing, but from what is in, but from what our preconceived mind has said to us. Because I know of Gooden, I didn't know of Godden.
Mhm.
So, Evelyn, who is Evelyn Godden, and how did you become a part of the UJA group?
Well, when we had a meeting, a couple meetings with a couple members. Our former president, Philip Petgrave, heard about UJA, and I think he approached then President Carlin Larry to join UJA. And so, based on that information, some of the things Philip was a part of Calabar High School, and he heard about UJA, and so he approached Carlin and he went over there and look at some of the programs that were there, and he felt this would be a good thing for New Day alumni to participate or to join UJA to bring us more exposure. UJA is an organization that if you're a part of it, you get quite a bit of exposure, you get a chance to meet other alumni associates. And so Philip thought it was an excellent idea for us to join, and we have been on this great journey ever since. So that's how that whole
Okay.
journey started with New Day alumni joining UJA.
Okay. Great. Awesome. How has the experience been thus far? Have you found it beneficial to your individual organization?
The experience has been great. We have made, as Leslie and mentioned earlier, there are 61 organizations. Being part of the primary school gives us the opportunity to meet other primary school and to meet other high school alumni and get a chance to learn from them. So joining that, and it has opened many doors for us, several
Hmm.
doors. We're able to meet other alumni, other sponsors, being part of this great organization. So the opportunity is endless, being a member of UJA.
Okay. As you mentioned that, Mr. Gordon, I'm coming to you. You see, you're the lone man. You must always have a company because the woman will outnumber you. But you touched on something there just now, Evelyn, and I'm going to go back to Madam President Leslie Ann.
Sure.
Because Mr. Gordon is with Rosemount Infant and Primary.
Hmm.
Evelyn is with New Day. Is it
Hmm.
primary, Evelyn?
Primary and intermediate. Hmm.
Okay, fine. So is this organization just for primary schools? Or if it is not, what are some of the other institutions that you have as a
Hmm.
part of your umbrella group?
Okay, so we have tertiary, secondary, primary,
Mm-hmm.
well as what we call community groups. Okay,
Wow.
who are generally what we call associate members. Although must tell you that being an associate member there's very little difference between being a regular member and an associate member, but we'll come to
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the alumni associations that exist are for at least as a part of UJA, and generally I'm going to say across Jamaica, are for the secondary schools. Think about think about something like champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Champs, exist primarily at the high school level, right? And the um, the history that we have is that we all very much align, at least in our minds, with the high school that we went to. Okay. And so as a result, it's logical that we would have so many uh, alumni associations for secondary schools. In UJA, we currently have 48 that exist within UJA. So it's a fairly large number. But we also have tertiary. So we have the Foundation for the University of the West Indies. We have Bethlehem Teachers College. We have Michael Teachers College, etc. We have several of the tertiary schools who are very much active in UJA as well. What is probably the area that I'm most proud of, and I say this very openly, is the growth that we have had in the primary school area. We are seeing more and more alumni associations being created for those primary schools. Because guess what? Those very same primary school students go to secondary school. And if we give our attention to the primary school levels, okay, then guess what? We benefit the entire system, right? Because the primary school students do better. Therefore, this when they get to secondary schools, they do better. When they get to tertiary schools, they do better there as well. So within UJA, we have really tried to give more attention to the growth and to the sustainment of our primary school alumni associations. They're generally smaller, in terms of their size. I think both Thomas and Evelyn would agree with me on that. Okay. So they don't have the big money pockets that the secondary schools and all of their, 50 and 100 of members have. And so they need a little bit more support. And so part of what we are trying to do is to figure out how to do that better, more effectively, because again, it becomes a win-win all the way around. Does that help? Miss Sia? Where did she go? She disappeared.
It more than helped, Madam President. It certainly did. Because a lot of people, for myself, I did not quite understand the magnitude of, the fact that so many institutions were a part of this noble organization.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you talk about tertiary, Mr. Gordon, let me chip you in here. You are the president of the Rosemount Alumni Association.
Yes.
How long has your organization been around? Because I heard Madam President mention that you are one of the new kids on the block. How long has your organization been around, and since when have you been a part of UJAA, and how have you been finding the experience so far?
Okay, well, I must say thank you for having me representing Rosemount and this forum. Rosemount Alumni Association, we got together about November 16, 2018, to be exact. About 6 of us got together around dinner and said, what are we going to do about Rosemount? And the rest is history. Or we get involved with UJAA, as Madam President speak of the secondary schools are mostly the dominant schools in UJAA, and there were not a lot of primary schools.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, among our groups, we have members that are aligned with other schools like St. Jago, Dintil, and things like that. So among our board members are former members of UJAA board and things like that. So right away they said, listen, if we're going to do something for the school, the most effective and the most exposure we need, we got to get involved with an organization such as UJAA. So within 1 year, we become a member.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it's like you were a mother without a chick without a mother, and then you found your mother, and then you know that you feel safe, right? Because there's so many things that happen for us. Example with the pandemic, we were able to
All
help
right,
us.
Mr. Gordon, because that's going to take us into another aspect of questions and stuff like that. So let us hold on that, and I'll go back to Madam Evelyn.
Well, let me say then,
Mm-hmm.
what UJAA been for us then is like a mother guiding us, protecting us, and helping us to grow.
Okay, awesome. So she's usually is the mother end that has the wings that enfolds
Okay.
the little chick underneath.
Okay, and I'm sure she doesn't leave out any,
Okay, the wings are
If,
big enough.
if you're missing from a meeting, she's gonna ask, "Where's Thomas?" or "Where's XYZ? I haven't seen him or her today."
Okay, great, awesome. So let me ask you though, we have 3 representation here, Madam President. Who makes up the rest of your group? Or the other stakeholders in your group?
So I'm not sure when you say stakeholders what you mean, but
Who are the other members of your group, organization,
oh my
names,
goodness, you want me
positions?
to name all 61?
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm talking about your board members.
Oh, board members,
Right. Your
surely. All
executive.
right. So let me run down that list for you. I'm going to do this from memory because Lord knows I engage with them pretty often, so I know exactly who they are. Our vice president is Mr. Donovan Wilson, who also happens to be the president of St. Elizabeth Technical Alumni Association. Our recording secretary is Melanie Forrest George, who happens to be the president of STATS in St. Andrew Technical High School Alumni Association. Our corresponding secretary is Carlene Largy, who is UJA's immediate past president, actually, and who has continued to serve in various capacities on the UJA board. And she's also the vice president of her alumni association, Immaculate Conception High School. Our treasurer is Claire Menzies Forbes, who is the immediate past president of Alpha Academy, Tri-State chapter. And our assistant treasurer is Mr. Wilbert Davis, who is the vice president of St. Catherine Alumni Association, St. Catherine High School Alumni Association. So those are all of our officers. Then we have 5 directors, of which Ms. Evelyn is one. We also have Dwight Clark, who was recently appointed to the board. He's the president of York Castle High School Alumni Association. We have Natasha Davids, who is the immediate past president of Immaculate Conception High School. Yes, you keep hearing that name over and over again. She's their immediate past president of Immaculate. We have Claudette Morris, who is the immediate past president of MICO, All Students Association, New York chapter. And our final member of the board is Michael Salmon, who is the president of Knox Association of Past Students. So those are including myself, the 11 members of the UJA Board of Directors.
Thank you, Madam President. And we're getting some feedback on our chat. Dolores Reynolds says, great analogy using, the fingers and the fist.
Good.
And then Verona Willis Brown says, excellent analogy with the hand. And I'm presuming that's Mr. Gordon, should feel like a king as he's among 3 beautiful queens. Okay. All right. So, I had not yet done the formal on, speaking about who each member is. I started with Madam President, but I don't want anything to take a formed format. So I just want to mix it up. So now I am going to go to the lone gentleman, Lone Ranger, Thomas Gordon, a proud man from Yard, Jamaica. Was born in the district of Burton in Linstead, St. Catherine. He attained his early education at the Rosemont All Age and did his high school years at the then McGrath Secondary, now McGrath High, following which he attended the Mechanical Institute of Technology, where he got his formal training in mechanical engineering. A man of many skills and training, an entrepreneur and a visionary. He currently exchanges his skills for earnings with the City of New York, CUNA, as an operating engineer. The Rosemont Alumni Association, New York, Inc. was formed in 2018, as Mr. Gordon said earlier, and he currently holds the post of being the association's first president. Married to his beautiful wife, Dolores, they both share 2 adorable children, Jamelia and Jamar. So that's Mr. Gordon for you. So ladies and gentlemen, looking on from viewerland, if you're looking at this gentleman and think, well, he doesn't look too bad. Show them the finger again. Do the trick for me again, Mr. Gordon. She loved it, so she placed a ring on it, right? And so now I'll come to Miss Evelyn, sorry. US UJAA Director, President of New Day School, Alumni Association, and Chair of UJAA Primary School Team. For the past 30 years, she has held several positions in banking, from analyst to vice president. As a vice president at Citi Private Bank, she managed the Knowledge Center team and the Information Security and Control team in, what's this, Mumbai, India? She provides strategic direction on keys Citi Private Bank application rollout to users in the US and Latin American countries. She also served in a leadership role on Citi African Heritage Network, I like that word, African Committee, and is also a member, oh Lord, technology, and is also a member of Citibank Women's Leadership Council, Internal Network and Event Committee. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration Management Information System from City University of New York City College. And that is Miss Evelyn. Want to wave again for me, Miss Evelyn, so that they, recognize you from amongst all of us? Evelyn, are you hearing me? I think she's
Yes,
frozen.
I'm hearing you. I hear some
Okay, I'm
background
just
noise.
asking you to do the Queen's wave, right. And so we look back, and I will ask you, where is UJAA located? Where are you located? Do you have like a headquarters and then you have like subsidiary branches, or where are you
No,
located?
nothing like that.
Mhm.
We have a post box is our address.
Okay.
We are very virtual. Let's say it that way, right? We
Mhm.
can adopt the lingo of the day. Even though we are in our 31st year of existence, we have never had a building. We have never had a home per se. We have operated um, in a very virtual way, I'm going to say. And quite frankly, the adjustment through COVID was really quite seamless for us because we had a routine of how and where we met, whenever we did meet, and we did things on rotation and hit each borough and that kind of thing. But our member organizations generally exist in what I'll call the greater New York area, because we do have associations who have members who are in the Philadelphia area, and also a few who are north, Connecticut, Massachusetts, etc. The thing with UJA, though, is this: as long as an alumni association is a part of UJA and representing a particular school, that school and all of their associations are considered to be a part of UJA. So, and here's the reason for that. If Evelyn New Day in New York has a New York chapter and they join, okay, and then they have a Florida chapter and they join, and then
Mhm.
they have a Chicago chapter and they join, and then they have a Los Angeles chapter and they join, okay, suddenly we have 5 organizations representing one school. Okay. What we were really trying to suggest is that no, New Day is a part of UJA. New Day and all of its affiliate organizations, brother and sister alumni associations, because our hope is this, that they are all working together for their school. So we are not trying to compete here, right? So what we are saying is when New Day comes to the table, New Day comes to the table with whomever they would like to bring to the table. They come
Mhm.
to the table as one, not as 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, because the idea again is that it's about togetherness, right? So we don't want that New Day has 5 member organizations and Rosemount has 1. And so when we have now are going to have a vote on issues, that we must decide, New Day should have 1 vote and Rosemount should have 1 vote, not 5 and 1. Okay, it's not fair. So that's kind of the structure that we have built over the years. And that's how we operate, basically as one in that way.
That's awesome. And it's funny that you talk about not competing, because last week our session last week, one of our panelists spoke about we don't compete, we complete. We complement each other. It's not about competition.
Not about competition. No.
It's about holding each other up and as an organization, so that we can be one and be united.
Exactly.
Miss Evelyn, do you want to tell me about your individual school, where it is located? Just give us any information at all that you can give us on the school itself and on the alumni.
Okay, New Day School is located in, hopefully you can hear me, it's located in St. Andrew in the Grand Spring area. It is low income, but it's surrounded by upper middle class from the Barbican area. This school was started in 1961. It's a no institution. We have about 300 students at this time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you, but you're going in and out a little bit.
Hello?
You can continue.
New Day School, New Day Primary. Continue. New Day School is located in St. Andrew. It's in the Grand Spring area. We are surrounded by Barbican. It's a low community, but we're surrounded by upper middle class. The school started in 1961. We have about 300 students there, and New Day continues to successfully handle students' athletics and their creative developments. That's the goal of New Day School, and they're currently doing a fabulous job on that.
With the help of the Alumni Association, of course.
So what can you tell us about your alumni, its membership? Who makes up the board of the alumni? And what are some of your goals? Are you meeting those goals, your visions? What are some of those things?
The New Day School alumni is a small group. We have about 6 to 10 active members. Our goal is to expand the membership. Our goal continues to be to improve the lives of students at New Day School, both on providing devices, technology, and try to help them meet their goals. We continue to work collectively with UJAA on different projects to help us and highlight us to do fundraiser. And we've been doing 2 or 3 fundraisers prior to the pandemic to have us, be successful to give back to our beloved alma mater.
Okay, awesome. Mr. President of Rosemount, yes, we are in a pandemic. What is the aim of the Rosemount Alumni Association? Why was it formed? What was the intention of the group being formed?
Well, I must say the Rosemount Alumni Association comes about because of the idea of one Marcia Sia Harris. She called up everybody and said, what are we doing for Rosemount? Because from time to time she would go and she didn't like what is going on at the school. So, she alone couldn't do it. Just like UJAA is a face, she decided to, get her peers, and we get together and we decide that listen. So first we have a meeting and we spoke with the chairman and find out what are the things that the school need, and give us, then we start with the low hanging fruits, and then our vice president, Mr. Clive Burrows, he went down, and Mr. Cedric Angus, our assistant treasurer, they went and they take a tour of the school. And the first thing they came back, I asked what's needed, and they said the school need a paint job. So our first project was to paint the school, and that was, it cost us almost 10,000 US dollar. We paint the school, and we refurbish bathrooms and things like that. We also make a guardhouse so the security don't have to stand up in the rain or the elements, things like that. And so those are things that we do. Then we help with the registration drive, and among what we do for the registration drive, we provide flyers and things like that, and we give every new student get a free set of uniform and things like that. And because since then the population has been growing, last year they registered up to 120 students in during the pandemic, and that was a record for a long time. They haven't seen such growth. And then this year we put in security cameras right around the school, so because for safety of the school and the student and the staff, so make everybody feel safe, because
All
security.
right, now, Mr. Gordon, now you make it look like, me want to hear what the others them have to say, because you making it look like it look like I'm going to have to come to the Rosemont Alumni to get, some
Well, there are a lot of things
sustainable
that we're
loan.
doing. We're a lot of things we're doing, and just like to share.
Right. All
So
right, but we will get back into some of that. But let me go back to Madam President. Madam President,
Mhm.
what is the aim of UJAA? Do you have any particular goals that you set year by year, or your goals um, repeatedly the same? And how are you funded? What do you do? Um, we'll discuss those, and then I have a few other follow-up questions that I'll ask in relation to that.
Oh my goodness, those are two big questions. So all
Mhm.
right, let me start with
We're
the
a big
first.
organization, so I
Yeah,
need to
we
have
are.
that.
We
Yeah.
are. So, um, I talked about the fact that, we are trying to do together those things that we really can't do well alone. When you reviewed um, my bio, one of the things that you saw was the fact that we have established a relationship as a stakeholder with the National Education Inspectorate in Jamaica.
Right.
So not everybody even knows that that organization exists in Jamaica. And I have to tell you that when I heard about them a few years ago, I latched on because I felt that well, first of all, let me tell you who they are. They are basically the quality control. I like to use that term. They are the quality control for our schools. So their role is to visit schools and evaluate them to see how they are performing, how the students are performing, how the teachers are performing, how if the grounds are in good shape, etc. They do a comprehensive review of the school, and they rank and rate it, and they write a report and provide that report both out on. It's actually a public report that's available for anyone to look at, but they provide that information to the administration of the school, as well as their school board, of course. And the school is therefore required to address the deficiencies or areas that need improvement that are identified in that report. So why I was very particularly interested in that report is this. If we as alumni are trying to provide support for our schools, then we need a basis for those decisions that we make for how we support the school. So we should not have schools asking us for windows and doors if there's also a need for the building to be painted, and that there's a need for bathrooms, etc. Okay, there can't be that disconnect between what is being requested and what is actually being stated as a deficiency in this report, because the school must address those areas and create a plan for how they will address these areas. So the idea here was this, to make sure that our alumni associations were aware, one, of the fact that these reports exist, and two, that they're talking with their schools about them. Because now we can create a joint plan, right? That Rosemount can say to their principal and to their board, based on this report, tell us what your priorities are and let us help you with that. So everybody is rowing in the same direction. Okay? So establishing those kinds of relationships was important for you as a collective, okay, to be able to do. So imagine a Rosemount finding that relationship and saying to the National Education Inspectorate, Madam Chief Inspector, I am Thomas Gordon of Rosemount, and I would like to know more about what you do. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? But very, very different when UJAA, with its 61 member organization, says to the inspectorate, Madam Chief Inspector, we would like to learn more about what all of our schools are doing so that we can be assured that all the funds that we raise, that we work hard to raise, okay, are in fact going in the direction that they should be going in. So those are the kinds of things that UJA has been working on over the years. It is identifying how we together, again, as I said before, can do more for each of us, so that we are more effective in everything that we do. Okay. Yes, UJA has a strategic plan. We do one every year. We update it every year. We kind of completely revisit it every 3 or 4. And we work very hard to kind of stay in front of the curve, if you will. We weren't in front of COVID. We had to flex like everybody else with respect to that. But we have had to adjust, and we have, because our world is different, right? In terms of how we are funded, each member organization pays nominal dues. I think it's nominal. Tell me, Mr. Gordon, isn't it nominal? Say yes.
More than reasonable. More than reasonable.
More than reasonable. Okay. So each organization is required to pay some dues. We take whatever funds we raise, we tend to take it and turn it back in a way that benefits all of the member organizations. That's kind of the point, right? We also have a major fundraiser every year, where the organizations are actually the ones doing the fundraising. We really just, UJA, the collective, if you will, does the administration, and we get some funds from that. So that becomes a big part of our funding, as well as just, ordinary persons like you and me that see what we're doing and donate. We graciously accept all donations. All right. So that's basically how we're funded.
Okay. It's important here because you mentioned, and two key words that I want to hone in on that you spoke of in your response just now. You spoke about awareness, and you spoke about the board. You spoke about unison. So I mean, whatever you're doing, it's not just about user. It's about user and the entire team, executive and members, along with the individual schools, working together to formulate a plan and to implement. So that's very important, that teamwork,
Absolutely.
dream work. um Miss Evelyn, back to you. Is there anything major that is going on with your institution, your board, that you would want to tell us about? Any major fundraiser? How do you help to fund your school? I mean, now that we're in a crisis, the world has changed within a short period of time. How has that impacted on your school? And how have you made, how has the organization, the executive of the alumni made adjustments to the aid of the school? And before you respond, we just have some comments here coming in. Pat Dixon says a lovely exposure. Dolores gave us some thumbs up. Enos Woody is also a past student of the Rosemount then All Age School. Is giving his regard here. I have a Carly, is this Carly Wright? Carly Wright. And Junior Specular says, a very interesting program. Dolores Reynolds again says, absolutely. So back to you, Miss Evelyn.
My connection is not too good. I'm not sure if I'm hearing you correctly. Are you asking
Yes,
me what the New Day
we're
alumni
hearing
have
loud.
done during the pandemic?
Right. Is there anything in particular that you can highlight that your alumni has been doing for the school?
Well, the alumni has been doing quite a lot. I don't want to do a laundry list, but during the pandemic, we have actually leaning on some close friends. I would say angels as well, to
Mm-hmm.
really help us with fundraising. As you mentioned earlier, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do a lot of fundraising, but we have some friends and members who know and see what we're trying to accomplish, and really made a huge donation to us to help us to secure a couple laptops, the project that UJAA completed a couple of months ago. So we have been able, in spite of the pandemic, we have been able to deliver to our school for the things that they do need. We have actually, prior to the pandemic, we donated 2 water tanks to our school. We have 4 students from New Day that is going on to high school, and we are responsible for those students for the last 5 years. So we have been giving back to our schools on a broad scale. And the last one that we did was the laptops, the tablets that we did, which was a huge accomplishment for our students, considering the pandemic and everything is being done online learning. So that was well received by our principal and faculty and the students as well, and was celebrated highly. Our principal was just in awe in what he saw and what was accomplished when the laptops were delivered to Jamaica on March 5th. So we continue to work with our angels, because it's only angels that is seeing us through this, and members who are dedicated and committed to help us continue to steer this ship in a positive way.
Okay, and we've had a few comments
I'm
coming
not sure.
in. Dale Salmon, another past student of Rosemount. Rosemount, big in the house tonight, man. Enlightening information. Lorna Fairweather says, Night, Madam President and usual members. Great highlights on the awesome work accomplished by this organization. And, I just pause here to, greet my Facebook and YouTube land, and just to say thank you so very much for being with us. We also want to extend the invitation to you that if you have not been partnering with your past school from back home, so now you know that you have not just your primary all age high school, but you also have your colleges, your universities that you can partner with. If you don't want to do it individually, we will be sharing information currently in a short while about how you can contact UJAA. We want to implore you. We have independent persons being a part of UJAA based on what Madam President is saying. And most schools, a lot of schools are actually represented. I say to you also, if your school is not yet represented with UJAA, I invite you to be that one who will get your school highlighted and become a part of UJAA. Just to throw out a new chance and a new opportunity. There are many schools that are not yet listed, and maybe you're just going to be the one who will be, cause the school to become a part of this noble organization. Mr. President of Rosemount,
Yes,
it is
madam.
have been so illustrious in pointing out all of your paintings and your money thing there. I soon come for a look, don't worry. Um, how do what do you have to say to persons, not just from Rosemount, but from schools all over, not just Jamaica, because we are a part of the Caribbean, and we have to think about our sister and brother countries surrounding us, because we're now in a crisis, and it's not just Jamaica alone that is in this crisis. We're in a crisis that, I pause here and I laugh, because I remember, my son would like come home and even now he's writing, and I'm like, boy, why don't you write properly? And he's like, mommy, who needs writing anyhow? Pretty soon writing is going to be a thing of the past, because we all type our assignments. We're getting to this point. And in my years of living, I never knew that, I'd see everything, going online. And it's like pretty much if you're not online now, that's what we're doing right here now. If you're not online, it's like you're not into the nick of things. What do you have to say to persons? How important is it to give back and to be part of your alma mater?
I must say it is very important to give back. If you know the difference we are making in our little community. When I speak to our principal, and she tell me the response that she's getting just from walking in the community because of the changes and the different things that are happening at the school. It's the money that's spent cannot measure the appreciation from the community itself, because just by painting the school it's like a light on a hill. You understand? It's like a star. It just stands out. But I must say, for our organization, we are an official 501c3 organization, so it doesn't matter where you are. You can make your donation to us. It is tax deductible, and our website is www.rosemountalumni and so rosemountalumni.nyc.org. You can go there and you can make donation and things like that. So we are doing different things to raise fund, because we still can't do face to face, but as you know, the pandemic make we get lime and we make lemonade. Last year we
Right.
did a virtual concert, which was a very very successful. Um, Although we had clashed with the prime minister, the president announcing his victory. Um,
Mhm.
that night on of the night of the show, we got what 15,000 viewers, people viewing the show. So that was awesome. You know, the funds raised. We get to do the camera. We provide laptops and things like that. And now we are doing the registration drive and other things that we have in store. We have extra curriculum things that we're sponsoring, like robotics coming up, a chess club, things like that. We're searching for the B, the spelling bee or the quiz, things like these things are what we're going to sponsor. We're looking towards sponsoring. So we need your support. If you're out there, you're watching, you can contact me at 516-643-2367, or you can go to our Facebook page, Rosemount Alumni Facebook page, and you can contact me, and you can contact Sia, you know, because I must say this is her brainchild, I know every time we talk, she laugh, because it's just that she can see the idea come put together, and now it is blooming. You understand? So, we are looking forward to your support, every one of you, So please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Miss Evelyn, I come to you, madam. Can you tell me who
Sorry, I
makes
can
up?
hear you. I'm not hearing too well. The connection is bad for me. I'm not hearing
Go on,
well, but
Leslie.
I'll do my best. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm asking, can you tell me who makes up your membership, your board members for your alumni association, names, positions? Even if you don't remember everyone, can you tell us a little bit about your executive of the alumni?
Say that again. Marcy mentioned, what do you want me to do? I
I'm
didn't hear
asking
you.
you,
Sorry.
who are your executive members for your alumni association, for the New Day alumni? Who are your executive members?
Okay, the executive member, we have Jennifer Johnson, who acts as the treasurer and the assistant secretary. We have Beverly Gordon, who is the secretary. And we have Kim Bowen, who is a director. She's a member of a student in Jamaica. So and our principal, Mr. McDonald, is also on board. So we have a total of 4 to 5 people on the board. As I mentioned, Jennifer Johnson, Beverly Gordon, and Kimberly Bowen, and Mr. McDonald, the principal, is in an advisory role.
Okay. For persons, as a matter of fact, you know, they say that my grandmother used to say, if at the end of the day you bear one fruit, then whatever you're doing is good. And I have Verona Willis Brown, and she wanted to know, how do you get your school to become a part of UJAA? But Lorna Fairweather actually answered her. She gave her the website information, and Miss Dolores Reynolds, Mrs. Reynolds said, well done, Mr. President Thomas Gordon. I gave you the greetings already from the others. Madam President, going back to your speaking about who you are, I have one long illustrious list here. You are currently serving as Vice Chair of the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force Action Network and Vice Chair of the Jamaica and Assistant Treasurer of the Alumni Association of her alma mater, Immaculate Conception, in St. Andrew, Jamaica. And so I realized that, is it you, Evelyn, who had some connection with the St. Catherine High School?
No, one of the UJAA board members went to St. Catherine.
Okay, so I have two kids, and both of them, their schools back home in Jamaica is represented here, because my daughter is a past student of Immaculate, and my son a past student of St. Catherine High School. He actually did, I think, a year or two before migrating here. So you see why I have to be a part of UJAA. It's not just because of Rosemount, but you know, the connection for my kids and for my grandkids.
And you know that they're alumni, right? Once you attend, you don't have to graduate. As long as you attend, you're alumni.
You are. If it's even for a day, even if you
just
went through the door and registered, you are.
That's right.
Right. So, Mr. President, have you told us who your board members are and positions and all of that? I know you mentioned your VP, but who are your other executive members?
I didn't get that. We have a 12-member board, you know. You have Thomas Gordon as president, Clive Barrows vice president, Leslie Betancourt, our first vice president, Patrick Dixon, our treasurer, Cedric Angus, assistant treasurer. We have Dolores Reynolds, who is our secretary, and we have Marcia Harris, our public relation officer, and Susan Morris, our assistant public relation officer. We have board members like David Marshall, who is also the president of Friends of Charlie Mount, and we have Lyde Washington, and we have Mr. Wayne Wint, our school liaison. And we also have a local member, Mr. Herman Williams. He represents us on the island.
Okay, sounds awesome. And Madam President, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Gordon.
And everyone is very busy.
So I'm going to give an open floor just for a minute to Miss Evelyn, just to tell us, just take a couple of minutes, seconds, just to tell us anything that is on your heart, anything that you want to leave with us tonight. I give you the floor, madam. Evelyn?
I'm not hearing anything. I'm not, you have to repeat it. I have very bad connection,
I
Marcy. You have to
I
repeat
I
the question. I'm sorry.
I
Can you
understand.
repeat
No,
it?
no problem. I'm saying I'm giving you the floor for a couple of minutes, maybe 2 minutes or so, just to leave any final thoughts that you wish to with us.
Still don't question. I still don't hear the question. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so let me use the minute while she come in, get her thing, you know. And as you know, we have our mega raffle going on, and it's, if you notice, it's all cash. And look, you can reach out to any one of the UJA member. You can get your ticket because this is how UJA and the alumni get funded. This is our main fundraiser. So I want you all to support it. It's very important. It is a Toyota in 2021 Toyota or $25,000. Who don't want that? And that costs only $5. So you can reach out to any one of your board members or the associate members and get your tickets. And I have tickets, okay? And $5, okay?
Let me tell you something, persons in viewer land. Mr. Gordon will sell your house with you in it. He sells anything. He sells himself even in his sleep. If you have anything at all that you want to sell that you're having a problem selling, please contact Mr. Thomas Gordon. You won't regret it. I mean, at the end of it all, I will just collect a small commission for this unpaid advertisement.
Okay.
So, Miss Evelyn, have you gotten the message I sent you? If you check your phone, I told you that I'm giving you a couple of minutes on an open floor just to express yourself in any way that you wish for you, your organization, or for usual.
I don't hear the question.
I typed the question to you in your
I'm not
private chat.
hearing.
If you check your message, I typed you a message in the chat. Wow, the connection is poor there. All right, Madam President,
Yes.
I give you the opportunity, an open floor to express yourself. If there's anything that I had not mentioned about you, I give you the chance to put that out there for everyone to see and to hear, and just to, whatever you want to express, whatever solicitation, whatever you want to express, the floor is yours for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, madam.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me say thank you so very much, Sia. I love the Sia. I think that is truly adorable.
Did I tell you how the SIA came about?
Yes, you did.
Yes. Well, let me just share it again because it seems as
Sure.
though every week I have to share it. So I work as a childcare provider. I work as a baby nurse. And so what happens is that going into homes, it was a challenge, with all the siblings for them to say Marcia because, Evelyn and I had the same conversation and we were talking about in Jamaica, people say Evelyn, but here people say
I'd like to
Evelyn.
talk about
So it's the same thing. So it's the
primary
same
schools.
thing for me. Okay, I think Evelyn is coming in, and if she is, I'll give her that opportunity. Go ahead, Evelyn. Yes, go ahead.
So can I go ahead?
Yes,
Yes.
please go ahead. Yes.
I would like started Thomas talk about the robotics program for the prime that has been placed in for the 9 primary school in UJAA, and the program in the primary school, as well as the looking forward to working on the robotics program schools alongside opportunity for us to and the robotics to kick that off in the next couple of months.
Okay, we didn't hear much of what you were saying. And before we end the program again, I'll extend the opportunity again to see if we have a clearer um, response from you. So we will come right back to you. I don't know if in the interim, if you might just want to reposition your equipment or anything to see if we'll be able to get a better feedback from you. But we will definitely be coming back to you. Veronica Harrison says, great job, Tommy. Peter Hamilton says, good night, Madam President and fellow participants. Congratulations, Mr. Gordon, for reaching out to me and informing me of the great work. As a past student of the Rosemont All-Age School, it's heartwarming and gratifying for the work and continued support. I'm available to support you and the organization at your request. So, Mr. Gordon, if you had not yet reached out to Mr. Hamilton, here is an opportunity. And I think that from this show, we will be getting at least one new membership to the organization, because I know Verona Willis Brown. She's a good friend of mine, and I know she will definitely want to get her school being a part of UJAA. So at least we have gained a stripe tonight.
All
And
right.
so, Madam President, I open the floor to you. But before I do, I just want to interject here again. And you know what? Let me open the floor to you and to see if you're going to own in on the thing that I wanted to have spoken about. And if not, then I'll hone in on that for you before we go. So
All right.
here is the floor.
So this is a test, yeah? Okay. All right.
Not really a test, but sometimes we talk and we might, there are so many things, achievements
Oh
that we
God.
are doing, so many things that we want to highlight that we
Yeah.
sometimes miss out on something, especially if we don't jot them down. And the fact that I'm not really going into a structured
Yes.
order, so
Yeah.
the floor is yours, Madam President.
Well, so I started by saying thank you so much, Sia. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with all of your viewers and all of you just as well, to talk about what we are doing and what we are trying to do, as well as what we have succeeded in doing. It's not by chance that we are 31 years old, and there were many presidents before me that did their job in getting us to this place. But I have to tell you that it has been a joy, a true joy, to do what I do. Okay, it fills my heart and makes me feel whole. I am doing something for my fellow Jamaicans. Most importantly, I'm doing something for my students, our young people. They are what will make our island home what it needs to be, right? So I like to say we're giving forward, because we are not going backwards. So we're not giving back. We're not going in that direction. We're going forward. So we are giving forward to Jamaica, and in particular to our schools and to our students. Each of us needs to find that thing that makes us happy. Okay, and we only go around one time in this life, right? And so it's important that whatever we do it with all our passion and with all of our heart, and give it all we have. And that is not necessarily money. Okay? It's giving with your heart. When you give with your heart, guess what? Everything else that needs to come will come. Okay? When I came to this job, um, I didn't know what I was stepping up to, but it's been a wonderful experience. Okay. And yes, Mr. Gordon is correct. Whenever he does not show up at a meeting, I know it because I look for him. I look for all of my presidents to be there. And I know who is there and I know who isn't. Why? Very simply, I care. Okay. And if you care, then I'm right there with you, caring right alongside you. Okay. To do what I can and what we can do together to make a difference. So, Sia, thank you so very much for giving us this opportunity to talk about what we do and to talk about the schools that we love and to talk about Jamaica, the place that, all of us grew up in and that will always be home, right? For all of us. Anybody want to learn more about UJA? UJAUSA.org. www.ujaaausa.org. Okay, so what was it that you wanted to ask me that
Because
I didn't touch on?
I wanted to touch on the fact that, as I said before, we're in a pandemic and the
Mm-hmm.
world has changed. Teaching has taken a new dimension to it. And I know that
Absolutely.
recently, from where I sit, I know that recently UJA embarked on a major computer drive to
Correct.
help, for which most of the alumni took part, including Rosemount, and Evelyn alluded to, the computer donation. Do you want to touch on that, Madam President?
Sure.
I know you kind of close your
Yeah.
speech, but do you want to touch on that because
I,
that's
I'll
major,
touch. I'll
and
touch on the.
also to make your appeal for persons who are out there who have not yet um, tapped into giving a computer, a laptop, a smartphone. Well, I mean, we're not even into the phone.
Yeah.
We're majoring on laptops and iPads and stuff like that.
So
How they can give and be a part of that blessing to a
yes.
child in need.
So let me come at this in a slightly different way.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, our world has indeed changed. But you know what's very curious? What you may have seen on my bio is that I have been teaching at the college level for 19 years. And 18 of those, no, maybe 17 of those years, I've taught online. Okay, all my students are all over the world, and I sit in front of a computer wherever that computer happens to be, and wherever they happen to be, and that's how we do class. So who knew that that environment would become what is now the norm
Mhm.
for all of our students and all of our schools? And so here's the thing. We are never going to go back to
No.
all just in person classrooms.
Mhm.
Those days are gone. And the faster that we all accept that, the faster we can all adjust and go forward. Okay, so that's number one. So, my advice has been to all of my alumni associations is this: when you are creating that budget for your organization, if you have a line item for infrastructure, keep it. You're still going to need those buildings. If you have a line
Mhm.
item for scholarships, keep that too. But you make sure that you add a line item for devices. Okay? Devices will be with us forever.
Hmm.
Okay? So what we are doing with this particular drive is not intended to be a one-shot deal. So if you haven't donated as yet to your particular alumni association, it's not too late. Okay? And don't feel like you have to buy anything. I am a believer in one cocoa. You have a $5 and you want to give it. All right?
Mhm.
Because just as Mr. Gordon said, those raffle tickets are $5. Those $5 go a long way. Okay? The point is to do what you can because it will make you feel good And let me tell you, you will be making a difference. And that's the point, that we need to make a difference for others, right? When our days are done, we want to close our eyes and know that we made a difference for, even if it's only one child, that we did that. So if you have the resources to give more, please do. There are lots of ways to give. UJA is but one. And I say it that way because I am not in competition with anyone. All right? As long as the students in Jamaica benefit, it's all good. Okay? Yes. We have a program. If you'd like to be a part of our program, you're more than welcome. But there are lots of programs out there. Just do something. Anything, but do something.
Anything is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
let me throw it back out to Evelyn to see if she has a better communication going for her now. Evelyn, are you hearing us? Evelyn? All right. So she's not hearing us. She's not able to respond. So I am going to be throwing out an appeal on behalf of Evelyn. For those of you from New Day, she said it's located in St. Andrew, close to Shortwood, close to Barbican. Please, I mean, there are so many of us who can give back. And, I mean, we
Give
are
forward.
looking at it and we're talking about, oh, I don't have much. I just have a $5 or a $10. As Madam President says, even $1, it is greatly appreciated because guess what? You're giving your widow's mite, and that is what is important. So we
Exactly.
appeal to you, anything that you can get. If you can't remember how to get in touch with these individual organizations, link up with me on my Facebook page, private message me, ask me for the information for Madam President. I'll gladly, or for, Miss Evelyn Gordon or Mr. Gordon, whomever you want to, or however you want to contribute, I will gladly share particulars with you as to how you can get in touch with these individual organizations. And, I started out, Madam President, you said you love the word "seers." So I started out by telling you that actually the seer was actually given to me by one of my little, well, he wasn't really my child, but an older sibling to a baby that I was taking care of, because
Mhm.
he couldn't say Marcia. So he said, "Is your name Sia?" And then I said, "Yes, you can call me Sia." And so both he and the parents and the nanny who was working started calling me Sia. And so when I started to do my Facebook Live, one day I was just driving and something just popped in my head and says, "Wow, Sia." So I said, "Oh, he couldn't give a full mouthful of Marcia, but he gave me a bite. He gave me a tit." So I said, "You know something? Sears, bite and a mouthful." And that's how I actually came up with this name. And I think I like it. And people have been asking me, "How is it you've come up with that name?" So that's the story behind
It
it.
works.
Um,
It
so,
works.
so, Mr. Gordon, any
yes,
final
I must
words?
say,
You have a lot to say.
I
So,
I will take a bite, not a mouthful.
yes.
I want to say thanks for this forum for us because as we speak now, we are having viewers from England. Mr. Hamilton is in England. I think he's the first head boy of Rosemount back in the
Oh,
States.
Oh,
Peter.
wow. How lovely.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we have people who are watching from Germany and
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica and all that. So thanks for a forum like this so we can um, enlighten the people of what we are doing here, to help
Right.
children back home.
And while we are at it, Madam President, I know you represented Immaculate. What all age or prep school or what other school did you come from before going into Immaculate? May I ask?
I went to St. Cecilia Prep on
I
Surbiton Road.
Yes,
Off
yes.
Hope
But
Road, yes.
they're closed now.
That goes now,
Yeah, they
yes.
closed a
Yes.
couple of years because
Miss
they were
Holness, yes, Miss Holness
right. They were
died.
just across the road from Southern Prep on the other side where
Aside,
my daughter
correct.
went. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Actually, that was one of the schools that I looked at when I was looking for school for my daughter.
Okay.
So I am familiar with them, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
That's the prep school.
but something, I think we need to form a link up,
Okay.
see how we can, I mean, we know we are in COVID. Colette Pinnock says this is really a lovely presentation. Lurleen Room says, loving the program, very informative. Annette Campbell Harper. Oh, that's my English literature teacher from Dinfield. She's in the house. Hi, Miss Campbell. And she said, good night. Congratulations on putting together this forum. Marcia, I am so proud of you, my former student. Let me just take this story to another level. When Miss Campbell taught me at Dintil, she was actually maybe about 16. I don't think she was more than maybe 20. So now I'm telling her age. But the beauty with Miss Campbell was that we had quite a number of inner city boys. They came on the football, side of, Dintil is a very progressive, for football and cricket and stuff like that.
Sports.
And so I remember we had one particular boy in that class, Troy. And so when Miss Campbell would throw out assignment at us and, she would give us, as students to read, talk it out or write our pieces. And I mean, Troy spoke just what he saw and what he heard in his community. And so even with the bad words, he would be talking. And she didn't tear him down because that was what he was living. And that makes Miss Campbell very lit. Uh, a teacher heart. We missed up for a number of years, but then thanks to Facebook, we met up and here we are again, one of my biggest supporters. So thank you so much, Miss Campbell, for joining me and the rest of the panelists here. So, Mr. Gordon, you wanted to say something else?
Well, you want me go for the rest, the next bite?
Yeah, we can give you one more minute. We're going up until we're doing an hour and a half, so I'll give you another minute.
Okay, I just want to make sure that if you are a past student or if you have been to Rosemount for one day, Rosemount Alumni is here for you. Use it as a vehicle to give back to your school, because a lot of people said they don't. When I spoke to them, they said they don't know who's there now and what is happening. So make the alumni a vehicle to bring back what you want to give to the school. And as I said, we we are an open organization. Whatever we do, it is on our Facebook or on our website. And as I said, we are a 501c3 organization, so don't be afraid to donate to us. You understand? Because we'll be accountable to Uncle Sam if we don't spend your money right. Okay, so feel free to know that we are a reputable organization and not just doing nothing, collecting your money, do nothing. Okay, thank you, Marcia. And
Okay.
it was a pleasure to be on a panel with three beautiful ladies. I'm an only son, so I'm not a stranger to being around
women.
I grew with my grandmother, my mother, and my three sisters, and I was the only man for years until my nephew came along.
All right, Tommy, as you strike on that, as I said, I am just going to be using this forum to extend an open invitation to you, Madam President, at some point to come back to us with members of your alumni, not just from UJAA, but members of your alumni community that we can look at how we can further give back to individual schools. I mean, your prep school is no longer around, but maybe a group of you might want to sponsor a all age school or something like that. That's something that you guys could look at. Um, Evelyn, are you able to hear us and to participate at this time?
Doesn't look that way.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh
Well,
Lord.
everything
All
else,
right. So,
don't
as
forget.
before we go, I just want to own in on Rosemount and to say I am one of the first proud students registered and attended Rosemount when it was open in 1973. And so, as I say that, 2 years from now, we will be celebrating 50 years. And
Mm,
we are starting the planning now.
good.
So wherever in the world you are, I'm going to ask you, it's about me telling someone, someone telling someone, make sure you are on board for that grand celebration. There are some things to be revealed, stuff that, the executive committee is working on, where, I'm going to throw one out there so you can start putting down your $1 and your $2. Don't let that take it away now from giving to user or back to our computer drive, because we will be putting in a plaque wall where, you can memorize your. I know that the first one I'm putting up there is my grandmother, Eugenie Lee. So we want to put up a plaque wall so you can pay to have your plaque, whatever size. If you want to take off a whole wall, we will give you a good price. So just work on all of that and know, who you want to have up there, what we want to do. We look forward to your input into how we're going to plan this thing with our church service, with a week long of celebration and maybe an entire month. Whatever. So Mr. Gordon will keep you, in tune as to what is happening. And we just don't want you to hear secondhand. We want you to become a part of the Rosemount Alumni Association to let your voice be heard, to let your opinions count, and um, just to be a productive member. Miss Campbell says, you're welcome. It was important to inspire learning, and Patois was the language most students knew from their environment. And as you talk about that, a lot of times, and this is going into another, and I don't want to be straying away from what we're saying, but it's important that Miss Campbell says that, because I was thinking recently, I have been listening. If you listen to the Spanish speaking countries, they bring their language with them. The Africans bring their languages with them. Everybody has their language that they have brought along with them. But do you notice us Jamaicans? We don't talk patois in our house, so our children don't know it.
Well,
We
yeah,
talk it, we
not
can't
me.
read it. If we
They're,
read it, we
they're
can't
doing
write.
mine.
And at the same time, we don't want to hear anybody with it, because the first thing we say, Lord, you chat bad, sir. Well, you not chat good and all of that. So
Marcia, I
our
guess that was
culture
then,
is dying.
because my daughter was born here, and
Mm-hmm.
as you know, my daughter, she's in the theater, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and prior to the pandemic, during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
she got a role in a show, and as Jamaican, and she had to audition as Jamaican
As a Jamaican.
and audition against Jamaica. So she
Mm.
know she you talk to my daughter, you better don't call her American, you know.
Yeah, I think we need to infuse a lot more of our Jamaican
But,
culture.
but she tell her that she come from Button Bush. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
Okay.
So I think we really need to see more of our Jamaican culture being embedded in our offsprings, because it is dying, and it is dying at a fast rate, which is very sad, you know. But on that note, I want to thank you all so very much. Evelyn, I have to give you a whole program and a half to make up for this one. So, I see the frustration coming out because she's not getting a chance to participate. And, there's nothing that I can do from my end, or any one of us can do from our end. Next time, we're just going to ask you that maybe you change your location, or something like that where you can get a better connection. And that is why usually like before the show, I always ask everyone, which, everybody did this evening, to come on a little bit earlier because we want to check like our mic connections and just to make sure that everything is flowing well. But unfortunately, these things do happen from time
Yeah.
to time. So let me take the opportunity once more. I trust that from this, something wonderful came out of it. Madge Lewis just came on. I don't know if she just came on, but she's giving us some fist bump. She's putting the fingers and she's rolling them up in a fist and she's giving us some fist
Awesome.
bump, to cheer us on and a little heart there.
Sure.
I trust that, from this program, um, something good would have come forth, that some highlights would have been done, would have been made, and that, at the end of it all, the organization will be better for this exposure. Because as I said, when I heard UJAA, I was like, you what? And I'm sure that was the reaction of a lot of people. So thank you so very much, Madam President,
My
Director Evelyn Gooden, Mr. Thomas Gordon, member of the UJAA. Thank you once again. Thanks for joining me. It was a pleasure having you, and it was a very meaningful discussion that I'm sure at the end of it would have left someone inspired, because at least UJA has gotten one new member. And Mr. Gordon, as his flyer, I tell you, this man will sell the shirt off your back, viewers. Just reminding us of the raffle that is
Mhm.
on. You can find information on the usual website. And as I said, any additional information that you need, you can also touch base with me via a message or something. And it was a pleasure having you. And with that, we say the broadcast is ending, but you guys can stick around. We can chit chat for a minute. I'm going to end the broadcast as we speak. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.